So this guy that found me on YouTube recently reached out to me and asked me a question that I've honestly been hearing a lot lately. What is it like and what is the market like in Varina? And that question, my friends, is one that I'm starting to hear a lot more frequently because people know Richmond, but they don't always understand where Varina is, what it feels like to live in Varina. They don't know about the market, what kind of homes are in Varina, and who Varina is really for. Now, thankfully, I have extensive experience in Varina. It's not Short Pump, it's not Glen Allen, it's not downtown Richmond. Varina has its own pace, its own lifestyle, and its own trade-offs. So today, guys, I'm gonna walk you through what you need to know if you are thinking about buying, selling, or relocating to Varina, Virginia. We're gonna talk about where Varina is located, what the market is doing, why people move to Varina, what buyers need to check on before they make an offer, and what sellers need to understand if they want to position their home the right way for a quick and profitable sale. So let's go ahead and get into it. Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. I'm Sonali, Hutson, and I help self-employed Christians in Henrico County coordinate buying and selling simultaneously without the stress, the chaos, and the homelessness to upgrade their home and lifestyle using my Homeownership God's Way blueprint. And if this is your first time here, hey, thanks for watching. But listen, make sure you subscribe and stay a while because I bring real estate in a real way every single week. So let's talk about Varina. Now, Varina sits in eastern Henrico County, southeast of Richmond. It's the largest district in Henrico County, covering roughly 126 square miles, bordered by the James River to the south and Charles City County to the east. If you've ever driven Route 5 past the city line, you've already been in Varina. And the first thing you need to understand is that Varina is big, y'all. Living closer to the Richmond line can feel very different from living farther east near Charles City County. Some areas feel more suburban, some feel much more rural, some have newer subdivisions, and others have larger lots, acreage, or older homes with more history. See, that's why you can't judge Varina from one street, one listing, or one quick drive through. The feel out in Varina is different from what you're gonna find in places like Short Pump or Glen Allen. Varina has open farmland, wooded areas, newer construction neighborhoods, older ranch style homes, historic estates, and river area properties, all sitting within the same larger district. Now, Varina is quiet, it's spacious, and it has deep history. So let's talk about it. Varina's roots go back to over 400 years. It was once the original county seat of Henrico, and the Varina plantation on the James River is tied to John Rolfe and Pocahontas. So when people say this area has history, they are not exaggerating. But most people considering Varina today are not only moving here because of history, they're actually drawn to Varina for three things: space, privacy, and proximity. First, let's talk about the space. Varina gives buyers the chance to find more room than they may be able to afford in Western Henrico. Depending on the property, you may find larger lots, more yard space, room for pets, room for the kids to play, a place for a pool outside, room for a garden, or even room for outbuildings, equipment, or home-based business setup. Second, privacy. A lot of buyers who ask me about Varina are tired of feeling like every house is stacked right on top of the next one. Y'all, we want breathing room, okay? We want a little distance from our neighbors, and they want to sit outside and feel like they have space around them. And third is proximity. This is the part that surprises people. Even though Varina can feel rural in certain pockets, you're still within reach of downtown Richmond, Richmond International Airport, major highways, and other parts of Henrico. Depending on where you are in Varina, you may be around 15 to 20 minutes from downtown Richmond and very convenient to the airport. So for the right buyer, Varina can give you that country living feel without feeling like you're completely disconnected from the city, okay? Now, if you love outdoors, now this is where Varina is going to stand out. The Virginia Capitol Trail runs right through Varina. That's 52 miles of paved trail connecting Richmond all the way to Williamsburg. Dorey Park is the largest park in Henrico County. It has a lake, walking trails, sports fields, and plenty of room to enjoy the outdoors. And if you're drawn to the water, you're gonna have access to the James River and places like Osborne Boat Landing for boating and fishing. Now, of course, this is a real estate channel, right? So let's talk about the housing market because I want you to pay close attention. Now, a lot of people assume that Varina is automatically the most affordable option because it's east of the city and has a more rural feel. But guys, that's too simple. It's got to be different than that, okay? Right now, the median list price in Varina is around $350,000. Homes are spending a median of about 34 days on the market, and the sale to list ratio is sitting right around 100%. That means homes are generally selling close to or more than asking price. So yes, Varina may offer more space for the money compared with some parts of Western Henrico, but that doesn't mean buyers can come in casually and expect every house to sit, to discount, or to wait around. This is still an active market, and if you're wondering about the market, yes, my friends, timing matters. Over the last 12 months, prices dipped through the winter, dropping into the low 300,000s around January, and then climbed again through spring and now into summer. Days on the market followed a similar pattern. Homes moved faster during the summer months, slowed closer to 6 weeks around December and January, and then they settled back into the low 30s. So if you are buying, the market may feel different depending on when you enter the market, okay? Now, if you're selling, timing and pricing absolutely matter. Just because Varina is active, it doesn't mean every home is going to sell quickly at any price. So when you look at what's actually available, the largest share of active listings is in that $300,000 to $450,000 range. That's the middle of the market, and that's where many buyers are going to have the most options and the most competition. Now, make no mistake, Varina is not only one price point. You can find smaller entry-level homes, older ranch homes, move-up homes in the 400s, newer construction options, larger properties with more land, and high-end acreage or luxury-style properties that can push much, much higher. So that's one of the things that I really love about Varina, and it makes it interesting. It's not just one neighborhood profile or one buyer type. It can serve first-time home buyers, move-up buyers, people who want land and space, people who want new construction, and people looking for a quieter lifestyle. Can you see yourself in any of those people? If so, let's talk about it. You can text me at 757-837-0096. If you want land and you feel priced out in Western Henrico, listen, Varina deserves a serious look. Now, if privacy matters to you, Varina may give you options that feel more comfortable than some of our tighter subdivisions closer to Short Pump, Innsbrook, or other parts of the West End. If outdoor access matters to your lifestyle, Varina has a strong advantage because of the trail, the river, Dory Park, and the overall open field. Now, if new construction is on your list, Varina has meaningful activity right now. Builders are developing neighborhoods to meet demand, so you're not limited to older homes if that's not what you want. But buying in Varina does require more due diligence. So I want you to lean in so you can understand utilities. Some homes, especially the further out you go, may rely on well and septic instead of county water and sewer. Now, that doesn't make a property bad, so don't get scared, but it does mean your inspection process needs to be thoughtful. You need to understand the condition of the septic system. You need to understand the condition of the well, the water quality, the maintenance history, and what future costs could possibly look like if you're not on city water. Now, the second thing, lean in, my friends. Check your internet service before you fall in love with the house. In more rural pockets, service can vary. Don't assume that because the listing says internet is available, it's going to meet your work from home needs. If you are self-employed, working remotely, running a business from home, or if you have kids doing homework online 24/7, verify that the provider and available speeds before you write the offer is going to meet your needs. Now, third, I want you to test the commute. On a map, Varina can look very close to Richmond, and in many ways it is, but Route 5 can get busy during peak times. So don't just check the drive at 11 o'clock in the morning on a random weekday. I want you to drive it when you're actually going to be driving it during that time. I know I say that a lot in the video, but that means I'm trying to drive that point home, okay? And fourth, I want you to pay attention to the property itself. With Varina, there's a whole mix of property types. Some homes are newer and turnkey. Some are older and may need some updating. Some have land. Some have outbuildings. Some may have longer driveways, wooded lots, drainage concerns, or maintenance responsibilities that you may have considered if you are used to a more traditional suburban neighborhood. Now, none of this should scare you, my friends. It just means you need a clear plan and the right questions before you buy. Now, with schools, I always recommend you verify the assigned schools for the exact address and look at the most current information for your own family's needs, okay? You have to do your own due diligence. Now, let's talk about what this means if you are selling a home in Varina. Now, if you're listing a home in Varina, one of the biggest mistakes you can make is marketing it like every other house, okay? 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, updated kitchen, nice yard, blah, blah, blah. Y'all, that's not enough. Buyers who are looking in Varina are often buying more than the house. They're buying the lifestyle. They're buying the land. They're buying the privacy. They're buying the ability to spread out and the idea of being close enough to Richmond without being all in the middle of everything, okay? So your listing, it needs to tell that story. It needs to make people feel welcome. Now, if your home has acreage, show it. If your lot has privacy, show it. If you have a workshop, a detached garage, garden space, wooded views, trail access, river proximity, or an easy route to the airport or downtown Richmond, guys, for a lot of people, those details are going to matter. And if you made updates that matter for a Varina buyer, septic improvements, well updates, crawl space space work, roof replacement, HVAC replacement, driveway improvements, outdoor living upgrades. We need to position those things clearly before we list. Because in Varina, buyers are not just buying countertops. They're comparing lifestyle, land, convenience, and long-term maintenance. Now, a seller's market doesn't mean you can list anywhere you want and the market will just accept it. Homes are going to be selling close to asking price, but that assumes the home is positioned correctly in the first place. So you need an agent who understands the market, because if you overprice, especially going into a slower season window, you're going to end up sitting on the market longer than you expected, and that's going to cost you money. And once a home starts sitting, buyers begin asking questions. They wonder what's wrong with the house. They wonder whether they can negotiate more aggressively. They want you to take a $20,000 cut. They're going to start watching your days on the market, and your offers are going to show. That's why sellers in Varina need a pricing strategy that accounts for the property type, the lot, the condition, the location within Varina, and the timing of the market. Now, I work with people who are doing dual transactions. That means they need to buy and sell at the same time. Because if you already own a home and you're trying to move into Varina, or if you live in Varina and you're trying to sell and upgrade, this is where it's super important to have a specific strategy. Now, if you're not trying to buy and sell, you're doing either or. That doesn't mean I can't help you. It just means we specialize in serving people with dual transactions. Homes are moving. Buyers are interested. Varina has a real value proposition, but that doesn't mean your sale and your purchase is going to magically line up without having a strategy. So we need to know if you're going to sell or buy first. You're going to need to know if you need equity from your current home. You need to know whether you can qualify before you sell, whether a home sale contingency makes sense, whether temporary occupancy is needed, and what happens if your buyer's financing gets delayed. Now, these are the questions that we're going to answer before you're in the middle of a storm. See, what we do here is we coordinate your buy and sell at the same time. And that's the heart of my Homeownership God's Way blueprint. We don't rush, we're not going to guess, and we're not going to move on fear. We use peace, we use wisdom, we use facts, we use strategy, because we want you to move forward with confidence instead of chaos. Now, let's wrap this video up and let's talk about who Varina is actually for. Varina may be a good fit if you want land, privacy, and a slower pace without giving up access to Richmond. It may be a good fit if you are tired of subdivisions and you want more room around you. It may be a good fit if you are self-employed and need space for a home office, storage, equipment, or a more flexible property setup at a lower price. It may be a good fit if you love the outdoors and want access to trails, parks, the river, and more open space. Now, it also may be a good fit if you want Henrico convenience, but you don't necessarily want the busier, more commercial feel that Western Henrico is going to provide. Now, Varina is not right for everybody, so we need to talk about who it's not right for too, okay? If you want to be within walking distance to shopping and restaurants and coffee shops and entertainment, Varina is probably going to feel a little too far spread out. So if you don't want to drive for everyday errands, you might feel a little bit isolated instead of feeling the peace that we've talked about. Now, if you're uncomfortable with well and septic, if you don't want to verify internet and utilities and property condition carefully, some parts of Varina may require more homework than you may want to do on your own. And if you want every neighborhood to feel the same, Varina may surprise you, because one part can feel suburban and another part can feel super rural. That's why I always say that the goal is not to convince you to move someplace. The goal is to help you see the area clearly. Varina has a lot to offer the right person: land, space, privacy, history, outdoor access, and convenience to Richmond. But the trade-offs are real too. You need to understand the commute, the utilities, the internet, the seasonal market shifts, and the fact that Varina is a large area with very different pockets. So if you're thinking about buying in Varina, selling in Varina, or trying to coordinate a move where you buy and sell at the same time, please don't try to figure all of this out on your own or looking at listings online. Because friends, every day people just like you reach out to me trying to figure out how an area like Varina is actually going to fit their situation. Whether that's qualifying as a self-employed buyer, finding the right amount of land, understanding the market, or coordinating a sale and a purchase without the chaos. And guys, I love having those conversations with you guys. So please don't hesitate to get in touch. You can reach me at 757-837-0096. You can also drop a comment below, because I'd love to connect. If you're about to buy a house in 9 days or 9 years, it's never too late or never too soon to get started. Friends, thank you so much for watching my channel. Your support absolutely means the world to me. Trust me, I love being able to bring you real estate in a real way every single week. Now, a lot of you guys are not subscribed to my channel. You just kind of found me through a YouTube search, and I love that for both of us. But go ahead and hit that subscribe button, because I'm dropping a couple videos every week as I get settled here in Henrico County. You can shoot me a text at 757-837-0096. You can also click the link in the description to set up a brief time to chat. I appreciate your support. I'll see you in the next video. God bless you, friends.